Sasha Banks may have just found a way to her WWE release, so we'll see what the latest update with that situation is. We'll also check out the bad news for Randy Orton, the latest major news for Vince McMahon's WWE status, and much more. Let's start things off with everything related to Sasha Banks. What's the latest there? Well, there are a lot of rumors and reports surrounding Sasha Banks' WWE status. Some usually reliable individuals came out and reported that they're hearing a lot of words that Sasha Banks was released from WWE. Sean Ross, who's one of the biggest wrestling journalists and reporters out there, said that he hasn't heard any confirmed news of Sasha's release. But he did give credit to the individual reporting about Sasha's release and did say that they've had good sources and broke stories in the past. So no official word right now at the time of this recording, but the word on the street is that Sasha Banks may be granted from her release from WWE. Sasha's contract was rumored to be expiring sometime next year, and with the current walkout situation, there was no telling how much time WWE would have tagged onto her contract. So that was another scary reality that could have came out of this situation. Every single day that Sasha has missed since the walkout very well could be added back to the end of her current deal. And if you're done with WWE and trying to get out of the contract, that would obviously be a nightmare to deal with, all the frozen time being added back. You wouldn't be making any progress to getting towards the end of the contract. You'll pretty much be standing in place. So reports are now claiming that one of those things that Sasha and her legal team are focusing on is a hassle-free release from WWE for Sasha Banks. So that's allegedly their main focus right now during this entire legal battle. Like we've been talking about, some reports and sites claim that Sasha has already won the battle and was granted her release, but WWE has yet to officially confirm the news. So Sasha's WWE release, at least in this very moment of time, is just a big rumor. But either way, it would appear that the whole process of her getting a release from WWE could be well underway. The Sasha Banks and Naomi situation has been quiet for weeks, but if this truly is what Sasha and her team are fighting for, then it really is over. There's no shot of Sasha Banks returning to WWE, and we have already seen her last WWE appearance and match. The future for Sasha Banks' career is limitless. She can continue her pro wrestling career elsewhere, or maybe she just wants to focus in on her acting career and leave pro wrestling behind her. There were a lot of fans that felt like Sasha wouldn't re-sign a new deal with WWE after 2023. A lot of fans had a feeling that Sasha Banks would move on to bigger things after the expiration. But thanks to the walkout situation, she gets to possibly leave even earlier than everyone originally thought. So again, the release hasn't been confirmed by WWE themselves, but it looks like the process of Sasha fighting for her release may be well underway at this very moment. So Sasha is more likely done right now in WWE. Will she consider a return down the line in a few years from now? Well, if things are different with the whole WWE operation, then maybe that could convince her to return down the line. But as of right now, Sasha appears to be fully finished. As far as Naomi goes, sure, they technically walked out together, but she's of course another completely separate individual. Naomi's situation and how she's been dealing with this may be different from Sasha Banks, or it may be similar. It's too early to tell. While reports claim that Sasha is deep into the battle for her WWE release, things have been pretty silent for Naomi. Despite there being no rumors of Naomi being granted her WWE release, it just doesn't seem like she'll be returning either anytime soon. But that's the latest on Sasha Banks and Naomi. Sasha may very well be granted her freedom from WWE in the immediate future. One of the biggest stories of the week was the Wall Street Journal putting out a very detailed article about some serious misconduct allegations towards some of WWE's biggest individuals, including Vince McMahon and other higher-ups in the company. The article talked about how a woman was allegedly brought into the company on a $100,000 salary to start off with. But the WSJ reports that once McMahon and the woman started having an affair, her salary then boosted up to $200,000. They also claim that McMahon was also allegedly passing the woman on to some of her higher-up friends in the front office of WWE. They go on to say that the woman has since left WWE, was given $3 million as basically hush money to keep her silence on the entire experience in WWE. The report blew up online, especially considering the fact that it came from one of the largest outlets out there with the Wall Street Journal. Vince McMahon and WWE were silent on the situation until Friday morning on June 17th. They announced that Vince McMahon would be temporarily stepping down as acting CEO and chairman of WWE until after the investigation has been completed. Taking his spot as new CEO and chairwoman of WWE is Stephanie McMahon. It's also pretty crazy because Stephanie McMahon has just finished leaving WWE herself and was just about to start her own hiatus away from WWE. But now, Stephanie McMahon's break is forced to end extremely prematurely because they needed an interim CEO, so Stephanie is back. There was a lot of negative light coming their way, but WWE did find a way to capitalize on the news and announce that Vince McMahon would appear on SmackDown. So having him on the show at the start of these massive allegations going public was definitely a ratings ploy to get the fans to tune in and see what he was gonna say. So some fans thought that was a dirty move from them to use this situation to pull in extra ratings, but it's what they did. There's no telling how long this investigation may go on for. Of course, this is as heavy as it gets when it comes to misconduct allegations, so it should be a very in-depth investigation that will last a while. There were a lot of other well-known names listed on that WSJ report, so maybe those individuals will step back from their roles as well for the time being. Of course, the buck always stops with Vince McMahon for when it comes to see what we see on WWE television. So with him stepping down while the investigation is underway, it could lead to a potential slight change on the television product itself, but stepping down was the right move. You don't want to be considered distraction to the company with massive allegations hanging over your shoulder, so it had to be done. The only thing that we'll have to wait on now is of course the results of the WWE investigation. Those results will affect WWE in a big way either way, so it'll be a long wait to see what the future holds for WWE. Some unfortunate news also came out recently for Randy Orton. Orton went on a little hiatus after losing the Raw Tag Team titles, but it was a popular rumor that he would take on Roman Reigns in the main event of Summerslam. Well, that rumor was flipped upside down recently when a new report came out that claimed Randy Orton may need a back surgery done that would keep him out of action for the remainder of 2022. It's currently unknown if Orton is going to go through with the surgery or not, but if he does, we may not see him until 2023, and Roman Reigns would need a new SummerSlam opponent. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.